Hey guys, messy bed, very much reflectant of messy brain right now. Random little video today. So, if you know, you know that Dom and I are running a half marathon. As of right now, when I'm filming this, it's in like 3 weeks. And today is going to be the longest run we've done, which is a 10-mile run, which I'm on the way to right now. And I thought I would just make a little video about it, you know what I mean, as a memory keepsake for when this is done and I can laugh about all of this. And then this is like a digital footprint that I did this thing. 10-mile run today. LOL, we're feeling so great and so excited. Up until this point, so we've been running like threes. The most I've ran is a 7 mile, which was honestly fine. And shout out Zach, our homie, told me that after a 5, you can kind of just cruise through. The runner's high should hit somewhere in there, which I do think is true because when I've ran more than 5 miles, like the runner's hit does hit after that, which is so nice. But needless to say, your girl's a little bit nervous about how this 10 is going to go, but I will say that if I can do the 10, then I can do anything. This is also the first time that we're running not like in the morning because the actual marathon is going to be like 5 p.m. So I'm starting to think that it's time to start running around the time of day that we will be running the half marathon. How many times did I say running in that sentence? First things first, let's do a what's in my running vest so I can show you guys what I'm bringing with me on this 10-mile run. So I bought a while ago this Solomon vest, which has been really, really nice for long runs because you can carry like the little waters in them, like so. Last time I ran the 7 with one thing of like water that was full at maybe 75%. This time I'm bringing two. And I'm thinking my prediction for my time is like an hour and 30 minutes. Ooh, is an hour and 30 minutes, maybe an hour 40. We'll see. This is genuinely going to give a check in because also I haven't been training super vigorously the last 2 weeks just because I've had family in town. I've been going home, all these things. So we will see if I even have it in me to run this. But all that to say, about an hour 30. My game plan right now is to listen to an episode of The Bald and the Beautiful and then run the rest with music. Either that or I'm going to go like front to back Pierce the Veil albums. I feel like music is just hard because it leaves you like just enough space in your brain to think about the fact that you're running. So I'm trying not to do that. So this is my Solomon vest that I bought when I got serious and loving her. Honestly, a little overstimulating to run with her, but for the pockets, I guess it's worth it. I'm bringing 2 water bottles with me on this run, and hopefully this lasts me the entire like 2 hours. Next, these are my goos for this run. I also have these chews, which I haven't tried chews yet, but they are caffeinated. Last time I did a goo that was caffeinated, I hated the taste, so period. But we can hope that this will be a little bit better. And I'm interested to know if a chew is better running wise than a goo, because a goo is kind of hard to eat. We have the tried and true honey stingers in fruit smoothie, which are yummy. Obviously, trying to keep my carbs up when I'm running, according to running TikTok. And these are the curls. So these are the ones that I'm using. Loving them horribly. I've used them before on shorter runs and it's been fine. So period. It goes without saying that I'm bringing headphones. I've been running with AirPod Pros and it's been totally fine. They've never fallen out, which is crazy because I feel like people always say that they fall out. So I don't know. I don't know what the tea is there, but I'm obviously running with them, so it's chill. Have to run with my phone. I will also be running with this camera that I'm filming on, so this will be in my little chest pocket. It really does give, if we can run a 10, we can run anything, so I know that I can do it. I'm just not sure how much of a dig it's gonna be. Nike was so sweet and kind to send us some shoes, and they sent me the Nike Freeze, which are kind of a thinner sole, I guess, than like I've been training in the Brooks shoes, which have the huge platform sole, which those are so nice for my legs, but they were so hard to run in. They're hard to run in because it's a whole different kind of like muscle group they're activating. Like I have to pick up my feet so much more, and I love just being able to run. So I think I'm going to try the Nike Freeze and see if they work, and if they work, I'll be happy about it because I really do feel like I can pretty much feel the floor, which is nice. So we'll see what the vibe is. But yeah. Bruh. Gonna go meet Dom at the beach and we are going to run 10 miles because we can do that and it's so easy and it's so chill. My goal is to not stop when I'm running. I'm down to slow down, but hopefully not stop. But then my other goal is to have compassion for myself if I stop and walk because what the hell. So we shall see. I'm thinking my average pace will probably be like an 11:30. Yeah, I guess we will see. We're really coming down to the wire and I'm really feeling it. So yeah, also honorable mentions of things that I'm bringing: sunblock, and I'm also going to bring with me a sunscreen lip balm because your lips do get dry when you're running. Just know that. So yeah, let's go run 10 miles. Okay, this choreo. Raise your hand if you're nervous. Like, raise your hand if you're nervous. Be like, the girls are here. We can do anything. It's so nice to run along the beach. It's so pretty. And I'm feeling all right. Definitely feeling the, like, what am I doing of it all? But 10:30 is pretty good. And I'll try to keep it around here. 2 miles down. I think that was about an 11-minute mile. Whew, there's a lot of incline here, which is different, but it's all right. Get your ass kicked challenge. There's 2 like gnarly inclines that I didn't know about, and I've never trained on an incline. So of course you gotta give it a shot on the 10-mile day. But still so beautiful. And I'm at 3. It feels like it's been fucking forever. I'm not gonna lie. But hey, we'll see. Mile 4. I've never ran before in my life, which is awesome. This track is so much harder than the shit. Probably should have ran it before I ran 10 miles, but the view is beautiful. I think I'm gonna take a little break. I'd be okay with that, because the 3 uphills was steep. Taking a small break. And it's so funny because every time you walk, you realize, like, girl, you didn't need to walk, you know what I mean? But I'm taking a small break. I'm allowing myself to be okay with that. Because my goal is to run this whole thing, but I'm like, the change in day, the difference in temperature, the inclines especially, are like all making their mark on this run. Which is why they said you should train with inclines earlier. Understanding that now, because it's something like completely different. So funny because when I run at 7 a.m. in the morning and it's cold at the reservoir when I just woke up, 7 miles feels like light work, but this is definitely a dig. Try these. Ugh, no, they're not bad. I just don't like candy anyway, so like eating something sweet as fuck is not what I want for myself right now. I can't imagine chewing these while running. I can't believe I'm saying it, but the goo might be better. Realest shit to ever go on the internet. Dude, the sun. The sun is kicking my ass. Like, does anyone want to talk about heat stroke? Does anyone want to talk about heat? I'm about 5 miles down. I'm about 40 minutes out from my target, which, girl, it's gonna take me a bit. Y'all mind? Y'all mind if I walk a little in my Louboutins? I'm only praying that the actual marathon won't be like this because, I mean, obviously this is like 3 o'clock tea, so it's kind of but holy shit. Mile 6, girl, I'm walking again. You know what I mean? I have notes already. I'm already thinking about how we can do better. And I have notes. More on that at 11. But off the rip, the scene change is like very informing. Also, check out the sun. Let's see what I'm dealing with. Let's see exactly what I'm dealing with, which is the sun, who I'm so grateful for, beating down on my face. I do feel like I'm kind of back in the coastal breeze area, so I'll pick it up again, of course. I'm going to finish today running, for sure. And I think mental note right now is that I really am getting used to the idea that I'm gonna have to walk some of this, dependent upon condition, of course, but you know, I think a lot of this is mental, and that is what I'm telling myself right now, is I'm just kind of like learning more about what I need to do, what I'm gonna need, what race day might actually look like, so that when I go into it, I have more like compassion for myself
Learning that the incline training is very necessary. So it looks as though I'm probably going to change where I'm doing my 2s and 3s for the next 2 weeks to include an incline, because that's the part that's like really fucking me up, like real bad. But it's so gorgeous. And I love the idea of running here, just maybe not 10 whole miles. I was also informed that I'm not wearing the best shoes today, but I feel pretty alright. Anyway, okay, so now we're kind of in the pocket of the last 4 miles, which at my usual running spot is like light with no reaction, but today is going to be a dig, so I'm going to lock in. We're on mile 8. I've walked so much. I've never stopped when I ran before, so this is definitely information. Walking is a horrible fucking idea, by the way. But we're almost done. 2 miles is nothing. That's light work. Finish it out. It is so hot. And always smile at runners when you pass them. Period. Oh my gosh, she dead. Like, guys, she dead. Oh my God, Lord, have mercy on those that you do not see. Like, I don't know. Hey guys, have you ever ran 10 miles before? Like, I'm literally sick to my goddamn stomach. Like, run so crazy, I need to sit in my trunk real quick, no shade. So that was literally the hardest thing ever in my whole life. That was very, very difficult. I still need to go to stretch, but before I do that, might as well list all the things that I have learned from this run. First and foremost, these shoes are not gonna work long distance. And it's funny because, okay, I'm wearing these Nike Airs, and I love how they feel for short runs because it feels like there's pretty much nothing on my feet, and I like to feel light. But right before we started running, Dom was like, oh, those are like low-key for cross training, but if you want to go for it, like, go for it. And I was like, yeah, girl, you know, I like them, I think I can go for it, XYZ. Girl, by mile 6, my feet were like, oh my God, like, oh my gosh, she dead. Like, my feet were hella cooked. So for next time, I will be wearing the Zooms that they sent me, which have like a larger insole, and I didn't really like that on the Brooks. I felt like it was tripping me and I felt like it was horrible, but I do think now that I've ran over 7 miles, I can understand why I need that padding, because my knees hurt and the bottom of my feet were like obliterated, mama. Like, they were like, please stop. This time when I was running with the 2 things of water, I literally felt like I was weight training. Like, the difference was very noticeable, which is totally fine. I was really happy to have water throughout the entire run, obviously, but also I'm not really sure if it's either giving I'm gonna have to train like that even for the short runs with like 2 things of water so that I'm ready for that, or that's just not going to be what I'm doing. But I think ultimately for the next 2.5 weeks, I'm going to train exactly how I plan to run, because too many variables, mama, too many variables. I think my worst mistake this run was for sure stopping so early. I was kicking myself for not peeing before I left the house. When we started running, I knew that I was going to have to pee, which is fine, you know what I mean? Like, definitely go piss, girl. But I will say that I peed about like 2 miles in, which obviously made me stop, and for some reason I think that done messed up the mojo of the rest of the run. When I run longer runs, I really start to get my stride like mile 4-ish, mile 5, and then you really feel like you can run forever. But this time I didn't have the opportunity to really get that stride, and I do think that made a world of a difference, because just because I walked so early on, I feel like I didn't get that like brain push to be like, okay, I'm not walking, like that's like not happening. And I think that's what kind of carries you through a longer run. I might be wrong about that. I think we have like 1 or 2 more long runs before we run just like 2s and 3s before the race. But here's what I'll say is, I think things like running and kind of like hard physical things are very, very, very reliant upon self-talk, as is everything. I feel like that's my one, like, if I was gonna tell anyone anything ever, I would say that your self-talk is everything. And especially when things are super challenging, like physically, I've been telling everyone that like running genuinely is so mental. I feel like everyone says that, but it's so true. Okay, I made it home. After we finished running, I actually was hit with like the hunger of 1,000 suns. So this is what we're eating. So yeah, so I got 3 pollo tacos with queso, but like, guys, the queso finna dig, probably. I haven't had it with queso yet. And then cucumbers, green sauce, and a side of rice and beans, period, because literally whatever, and I feel like I'm gonna die. Okay, Melissa.
3, 3, El Pastor tacos.
Thank you.
Con queso. This is queso on top.
Right.
There's El Pastor on the bottom.
And there's pineapple in it.
And I asked him for that pineapple.
Yeah, you had to.
And then I put the little accoutrements.
Oh my god, and we also got pinkberry. Stop. Don't.
Right. Literally stop the press. I haven't been
No,
there in years.
Like, it's giving
It was a time capsule.
Well, and it's time capsule, but it's also like the same thing since literally 8th grade, which is original tart, mango, blueberry, strawberry, coconut, and almonds.
Ah, that's good, man.
So I'm about to like eat this and then watch YouTube and like forget that today ever happened. So
yeah. We can't know about today.
I'll be back for a final thoughts.
Hello everyone, it is the next day, okay? Some would call this recovery day for a girl who ran 10 miles in the sun yesterday. Before I even start talking, let me just let y'all know what my vibe is right now. My face was not very happy with me for running for 2 hours in the blistering sun, so I'm currently slugging with a bunch of Aquaphor because my face was dry as hell when I woke up this morning, loving that. And I'm also sitting in my disarray of a bed because I have been laying here for pretty much a lot more of the day than I expected to. I had a to-do list and I'm just like, I need to listen to my body. But I figured if I don't set up and record this, the summation, the end of this video, I'm literally never going to do it. So we are fighting demons and that is okay. But against all odds, thou art alive and thou art living. So initially I was planning on putting together like an editing vlog that kind of went over the couple of weeks that I've spent training for this half marathon. And I'm going to be so honest with you guys, like editing vlogs is such a pain. And that's coming from a film major, okay? So when you see people who upload vlogs, or if you're somebody who films and edits vlogs, like I am simply in awe of you because the coming together of all the pieces, the putting together multiple days of recording, like it's more than I can really chew and chomp right now. So I figured I would just sit down and talk about running, period. And then luckily, ran the 10 yesterday, so that can be my vlog contribution. Figured I would sit down and talk about running and this whole experience and what it has been like. Before I talk about it in the context of the 10 mile that was walked yesterday, I would like to say that, to start this all off, a lot of you know that Dom and I got asked to run this half marathon, to which we said yes. And I will say that I am simply somebody who chases after a bit, okay? This is a prime example of me committing to a bit and then like having to take it all the way to the finish line. Literally, oh my God, wasn't even trying to do a pun there, period. When we got asked, I have not ran since probably like middle school miles, and Dom was really hyped about it, loving that. So a lot of us said yes to running the half marathon. Now we are here 2 months later, and I'm really, really excited to not be training for a half marathon. I will say when I was a kid in middle school, I was running like 5-6 minute miles for some reason. And if we are to believe that running is some kind of genetic ability, then I will attribute a lot of this experience and that experience to that. And I would also like to note that, as a lot of you guys know, I did grow up dancing. So for the first like 17-18 years of my life, I was dancing pretty much on track to do it professionally, which kind of just looks like 4 to 6 days a week spent dancing, which is arguably working out or just a very physical activity. And I mention that because I do think that that has informed a lot of my running experience. I did grow up super embodied. I still dance now here and there for self-care, but I spent so much of my youth and like young adulthood so in my body and so physical that I do see how kind of just like that relationship with myself and that relationship with my physical body has manifested in how maybe complicated or easy or digestible running has been. So yeah, that's kind of my background, but in essence, this is really giving couch to half marathon. If we want to be so real, I don't work out, I don't do any cardio, I don't do any of those things. And I really just love doing things that I don't think that I can do for some reason. But I fear I picked something this time that pushes the time span of being a spontaneous decision. You know what I mean? There has been a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and money put into this that I didn't really consider when I said yes, but one thing about me is when I say yes, I'm gonna do it. I am a man true to my word. I will say in general, running has been surprisingly so much fun. I think that what makes it at all daunting and hard for me is the training aspect of it. If we weren't training for a half marathon, then I don't think I would kind of have any qualms about running, and I would love to see myself continue to run after the half marathon because I mean, I never even thought that I could run like a mile or 2 miles comfortably, but I will say that now that I've ran 10, you know what I mean? Like 2 and 3 feel very easy, which sounds insane, I'm sure. I've been feeling really locked in with my body and just very in conversation with my body, which that's something that I think is really really important. I want to keep my body healthy. I don't want to stress it out too much, and running is definitely like a completely different physical experience than like dancing, for example. Mindfulness wise, it has been amazing, and it is really kind of like helped my self-confidence in some way. It's that like muscle that you practice of thinking you can't do something and then doing something and then kind of getting that like dopamine push, which has been really nice. So all in all, running has been really tea, to be honest. I do love doing it, and I love waking up in the morning and running when it's still brisk out, and I love how I feel afterwards. I love specifically running in the morning because then I have my whole day ahead of me and I feel like I've accomplished so much. So for that, I think it's great. And I will say that the mindfulness is something that I haven't experienced thus far. It is so dependent on the present. And I tell everybody in my life who's been like asking about the running and stuff or like wanting to run, I'm like, genuinely, when they say that it's 80% mental, they are absolutely correct because your body will adjust. Yes, the first like 2 runs I did, I was like, oh my God, this is insane. But now I don't even really worry about, for example, like my endurance or my breathing when I'm running. It's more so just like, how's my body feeling? Did I eat the quote unquote right things? I hate to even use the word right, but I guess what I mean is, girl, you can tell. You can tell when you had Taco Bell the day before because my stomach be cramping. But it is so dependent on your mental and dependent on your self-talk and dependent on those things. And that might be a reason I like it because it feels like this active kind of like mindfulness, almost meditative exercise where you have to really show up for yourself genuinely with every step. And then some runs, now that I'm more used to it, are just like listening to good music and getting to look around and smell the trees and just be grateful for my body and what it can do. So it has been a really, really nice experience from that perspective. But if I was just running on my own accord, doing what I could, running when I wanted to run, running how long I want to run, running to whatever, like those things I think are great. So for people who are like not sure about it in terms of like, I don't know if I can do it, just know that you can absolutely 100% do it. And it really is just kind of about consistency. Obviously, there is a different experience that comes with training for something, which is the part that has me fucked up. Running a half marathon, I knew right away that my biggest deal was going to be me trying to be quote unquote good at it. You know what I mean? Or even have kind of an assumption of what I would be okay with and what I would feel accomplished with. And I will say after yesterday's run, like I was genuinely so humbled, and I'm only lucky and I'm grateful and I have gratitude for the part of myself that has worked on compassion because I was really trying to find it. I was really trying to find it. So yesterday, thinking that I was going to run like an 11:30 if I was having trouble and thinking I was going to be able to finish in like an hour 40, like, okay, she was very hopeful. She didn't think about the idea that I've never ran in the middle of the day when it's blistering hot out before. I've never run with 2 packs of water. I'd never run a long run in those shoes. I've never run, like, there were all of these kind of things that I think I'm remembering and again showing compassion towards. And yesterday's experience, that is going to make me say that I will not back out of the half marathon. But I will say that running 10 miles in the heat with inclines, oh hell no. And to tie that into the general talk about running, the mentality of it all, I'm proud of myself for not allowing that to be the most discouraging thing ever, because ultimately I did meet my expectations. I thought it was going to feel a lot better. I honestly thought it was going to be kind of easy because I've ran a 7 mile before and was really surprised and felt so good that I felt so surprised. Albeit I ran that at like 7 a.m. when it was brisk outside on a flat course that I know very well. So with that being said, set up to have a different experience, but I really am taking that experience as learning. And I think in a general sense, that's all that you can do when things don't go the way that you want them to, instead of beating yourself up for it and feeling like that has some kind of reflection on you and what you're doing and, your experience, all these things. I like to take that and turn it into what can I learn and where can we go from here. There is a world where I could feel really shitty about the past. We do it all the time with other things, but there is a world where I could have felt really shitty about that run and just dwelled on it and felt like that really defines my, abilities as a runner at this point, especially given that we have like 2.5 weeks left to get it together and run this half marathon. But I am leaving it up to, I have 2.5 weeks to run this marathon. Every single, run that I fit in and everything that I do to train within those 2 weeks are all going to help me on the actual half marathon. So I'm looking at it as, yay, I have 2 weeks to learn from that, to get better, to grow, to do all these things, rather than, oh my God, I only have 2 weeks and I'm not where I want to be. If you are somebody who is thinking about running, and this is coming from the girl who just ran a horrendous 10 mile yesterday, okay? Horrendous. Like I literally thought I was going to throw up, pass out, fart, like it was over. I still recommend running. I think it is such a nice way to kind of blend like physicality and mindfulness. And when you have, again, like the opportunity to run under your own circumstances, you can make the changes that feel good for you. Like if you are somebody who likes to run at sunset, or if you're like me and you like to run in the morning when it's still brisk, or if you are somebody who wants to run in the blistering sun, we listen and we don't judge. The biggest hump that you'll have to get over to get into running, in my experience with my couch to half marathon, is genuinely the mentality of it. You know what I mean? Like if you can just run, show yourself compassion, listen to your body, show up for yourself, you're going to be fine. And I think that you could run and do so much more than you think you could do. And I guess that goes for pretty much anything that you're scared to try or to do. Like it really is more just the muscle of doing it than not doing it. As we say all the time, like the only difference between you and somebody who's doing it is that they're doing it. If you have any questions about running, you can totally leave them in the comments if you want. I'll answer them if I can. I'm not a professional, but if you want just like a random girl's opinion on it, obviously I'm so happy to share with you guys. But if you want like professionals advice, like I would, Google it or go on running TikTok or something. With all that being said, thank you for watching me run 10 miles. Thanks for listening to me blab, and I'll see you when I see you. You know what I mean? Bye.